God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, and this is not a threat, it is a law. Avoidance does not erase reality. It only delays the moment you must face it. Most people think time is on their side, but time is neutral. It does not protect you, and it does not warn you loudly. It simply moves forward, carrying your actions with it. What you avoid today does not disappear tonight. It waits. And when tomorrow comes, it does not come gently. It comes with clarity. You avoid pain because pain exposes weakness. You avoid silence because silence forces you to hear your own thoughts. You avoid discipline because discipline demands consistency when motivation disappears. And so you fill your days with noise, distractions, entertainment, and excuses. You tell yourself you are tired. You tell yourself you deserve rest. You tell yourself you will start when conditions improve. But conditions never improve for the undisciplined. They only become heavier. Tomorrow is not dangerous because something bad will happen. Tomorrow is dangerous because the truth becomes visible. When the mind no longer has space to hide, reality steps forward. You will notice how much time you waste. You will notice how often you choose comfort over growth. You will notice how weak your routines are, and this noticing hurts more than failure itself, because now you can no longer pretend. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, because avoidance is the greatest form of self-betrayal. You already know what you must do. You already know which habits are destroying you. You already know which conversations you should have had, which boundaries you should have set, which actions you delayed. You don't need new information. You need courage. And courage is not loud. Courage is quiet, disciplined action repeated daily. Most people fear exposure because they confuse it with judgment. But exposure is not judgment. Exposure is feedback. Life shows you the result of your choices, not to shame you, but to correct you. If you feel uncomfortable tomorrow, it is not because you are failing. It is because you are waking up. And awakening is never comfortable. Comfort is for sleep. Growth belongs to discomfort. You have avoided responsibility by blaming circumstances. You have avoided effort by waiting for motivation. You have avoided consistency by starting and stopping repeatedly. Tomorrow removes these escape routes. Tomorrow forces a simple question into your mind. Are you living intentionally, or are you drifting? Drifting feels safe because it requires no decisions. But drifting always ends at places you never chose. God does not expose you to embarrass you. God exposes you so you can realign. But alignment only happens when you stop lying to yourself. You say you want peace, but you live chaotically. You say you want strength, but you avoid struggle. You say you want clarity, but you refuse to sit in silence. Tomorrow makes these contradictions visible. When avoidance ends, discipline begins. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is structure. It is the ability to do what must be done regardless of mood. It is the bridge between intention and reality. Without discipline, spiritual words mean nothing. Without discipline, motivation speeches fade. Without discipline, tomorrow looks exactly like yesterday. You may feel pressure tomorrow. That pressure is not external. It comes from the gap between who you are and who you know you should be. That gap widens every day you avoid action. Eventually the gap becomes pain, and pain demands attention. This is why tomorrow feels critical, not because something mystical happens, but because avoidance has reached its limit. You cannot outrun yourself forever. You cannot distract yourself endlessly. You cannot postpone growth without paying interest. Tomorrow is simply the day when the bill becomes visible. Some will panic. Some will complain. Some will numb themselves again. But a few will pause, breathe, and accept responsibility. Those few change their lives. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, and this includes your potential, not just your flaws. You have avoided your own strength because strength demands accountability. When you realize what you are capable of, excuses die. When excuses die, responsibility begins. And responsibility is heavy for those who are untrained. You avoid early mornings because they demand order. You avoid training the body because it reveals weakness. You avoid controlling the mind because it exposes chaos. Tomorrow shows you these weaknesses clearly. Not to break you, but to give you a starting point. You cannot build without knowing where you stand. Many people ask for signs. This is the sign, not fireworks, not miracles, awareness. Awareness that you cannot continue the same way and expect a different outcome. Awareness that time is passing regardless of your readiness. Awareness that discipline delayed becomes suffering. God does not say tomorrow will destroy you. God says tomorrow will show you. And what you do after being shown determines everything. You can turn away again, but avoidance becomes heavier each time. Or you can stand still, face the discomfort, and take the first disciplined step. That step may feel small: waking up earlier, turning off distractions, training your body, cleaning your space, speaking honestly, keeping a promise to yourself. These actions seem simple, but they are rare. They separate those who transform from those who repeat cycles. Tomorrow is not about fear. It is about truth. And truth is neutral. It does not attack. It does not comfort. It simply is. When you align with it, life becomes lighter. When you resist it, life becomes heavy. You have avoided discomfort because you misunderstood it. Discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is instruction. It tells you where growth is required. Tomorrow places that instruction directly in front of you. Ignoring it will not make it disappear. Accepting it will begin your transformation. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, because tomorrow demands maturity. Not emotion, not belief, maturity. The ability to act correctly even when it feels difficult. The ability to face yourself without excuses. The ability to choose discipline over desire. If tomorrow feels intense, do not panic. Intensity is clarity. Clarity is power. And power, when handled with discipline, changes destiny. Not suddenly, not magically, but inevitably. What you avoid controls you. What you face frees you. Tomorrow is the moment you decide which one you choose. God said discipline decides what you receive. And this truth is uncomfortable because it removes luck, removes excuses, and removes blame. It places everything back into your hands. People like to believe life is unfair because it protects them from responsibility. But life is precise. It responds exactly to how you live, not how you wish, not how you pray, not how you promise yourself you will change one day. It responds to what you do consistently. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a daily decision. It is the choice to act correctly even when the mind resists. The mind will always resist discipline because discipline threatens comfort. Comfort wants to stay the same. Growth demands change. When you understand this, you stop fighting your resistance emotionally and start training it structurally. Most people want results without structure. They want peace without order. They want strength without training. They want respect without self-respect. Discipline is the bridge they refuse to cross. And then they ask why nothing changes. God does not withhold blessings. People block them with disorder. What you receive in life is not random. It is earned silently. Your body receives the result of how you treat it. Your mind receives the result of what you feed it. Your future receives the result of what you repeat. Discipline is the language life understands. Words do not move reality. Actions do. You wake up late and you say life is hard. You waste energy and you say you feel weak. You allow your mind to wander and you say you lack focus. These are not mysteries. These are outcomes. Discipline is not about force. It is about alignment. When your actions align with reality, resistance decreases. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen inner authority. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken it. A weak inner authority creates chaos. A strong inner authority creates order. Life responds to order. Many people confuse discipline with punishment. They think discipline means suffering. This is why they avoid it. But lack of discipline creates far more suffering than discipline ever will. Discipline hurts briefly. Regret hurts daily. Discipline costs effort. Chaos costs your future. When discipline enters your life, excuses leave. You stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop asking how you feel and start asking what is required. This shift is small, but it changes everything. The disciplined do not rely on emotions. They rely on systems. God does not reward intention. God responds to embodiment. If you say you want change, but your routine stays the same, nothing moves. Life does not listen to desire. It listens to behavior. Discipline turns desire into reality. You receive clarity when you discipline your attention. You receive strength when you discipline your body. You receive peace when you discipline your reactions. You receive respect when you discipline your word. Every reward is connected to a form of restraint. Freedom is born from control, not from indulgence. People fear discipline because it removes fantasy. Fantasy says someday everything will be different without effort. Discipline says today you must act regardless of feeling. Fantasy is comforting. Discipline is grounding. God favors those who are grounded. Discipline teaches you patience. Results do not appear immediately. This is where most people quit. They train for a week and expect transformation. They meditate twice and expect enlightenment. They act correctly for a moment and expect life to change. Discipline does not work on urgency. It works on consistency. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline prepares you to hold what you ask for. Without discipline, success becomes destruction. Power without control corrupts. Opportunity without structure collapses. Many people are protected by their lack of success because they lack the discipline to handle it. Look at your life honestly. What you lack is connected to what you avoid doing consistently. If you lack stability, your routine is unstable. If you lack confidence, you break promises to yourself. If you lack progress, you lack structure. This is not judgment. This is instruction. Discipline trains your nervous system. When you choose discomfort voluntarily, life's discomfort becomes manageable. When you avoid discomfort, life forces it upon you. The disciplined suffer less because they suffer by choice. The undisciplined suffer more because they suffer by consequence. God does not ask you to be perfect. God asks you to be consistent. Perfection creates pressure. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum changes identity. When you repeatedly act with discipline, you no longer struggle to be disciplined. It becomes who you are. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. Discipline builds systems that carry you when motivation disappears. This is why disciplined people appear calm under pressure. They are not stronger emotionally. They are structured. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline sharpens awareness. When your life is orderly, your perception becomes clear. When your life is chaotic, your mind becomes noisy. Silence is earned through structure. Discipline also teaches humility. You learn that progress is slow. You learn that effort is required daily. You learn that there are no shortcuts. This humility protects you from arrogance and disappointment. It keeps you grounded in reality. Every morning is a choice. Either you command your day or your impulses command you. Discipline is leadership over yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead anything else. People say they want freedom, but they live without discipline. This is a contradiction. Freedom without discipline is slavery to impulse. True freedom is the ability to choose correctly even when tempted otherwise. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline is respect for time. Time is life. When you waste time, you waste life. When you discipline time, life expands, not in hours, but in depth. If tomorrow you choose discipline, even in one small act, something shifts. Not externally at first, but internally. You feel grounded, you feel capable, you feel aligned. That alignment attracts stability. Do not wait for discipline to feel easy. It never will in the beginning. But neither does regret feel easy. Choose which discomfort you want to live with. God does not give more to those who ask louder. God gives more to those who are ready. Discipline is readiness. Discipline is proof. Discipline is devotion in action. What you receive tomorrow is already being decided today by how you live now. Discipline is not about controlling life. It is about controlling yourself. And when you control yourself, life responds. Discipline decides what you receive because discipline decides who you become. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," and this is one of the most misunderstood laws of life. Resistance feels like protection. You think by avoiding pain, avoiding responsibility, avoiding truth, you are keeping yourself safe. In reality, you are training the problem to grow. Whatever you refuse to face does not weaken. It accumulates strength in silence. Resistance is not strength. Resistance is delay. When you resist discomfort, you are not removing it from your life, you are postponing it. And postponed discomfort always returns with interest. A small ignored habit becomes a large destructive pattern. A quiet warning becomes a loud consequence. A gentle nudge becomes a forceful push. Most people resist because they want control without effort. They want life to change without them changing. So when life demands adjustment, they push back emotionally, they complain, they distract themselves, they numb themselves. They say, "No is not the right time." But time does not negotiate. Time only reveals. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," because resistance feeds fear. When you run from something, you tell your nervous system that it is dangerous. That danger grows in your mind. The task feels heavier. The conversation feels scarier. The discipline feels impossible. Not because it is, but because you trained your mind to fear it. Look at how problems grow when ignored. Health ignored becomes illness. Relationships ignored become resentment. Discipline ignored becomes chaos. Truth ignored becomes regret. None of these appear suddenly. They grow quietly while you look away. Resistance creates the illusion of peace. For a moment, you feel relief. You say, "I'll deal with it later." That relief is short-lived. Underneath it, tension builds. Your mind knows you are avoiding something important. That tension leaks into your sleep, your mood, your confidence. You feel heavy but don't know why. God does not punish resistance immediately. That would be merciful in a harsh way. Instead, life allows resistance to continue until the lesson becomes unavoidable. This is why tomorrow feels intense. Not because life is cruel, but because resistance has reached its limit. When you resist responsibility, you become dependent. When you resist discipline, you become unstable. When you resist truth, you become confused. Resistance weakens your inner authority. You start doubting yourself because you know you are not acting correctly. People think resistance is saying no to the world. In reality, resistance is saying no to yourself. You know what must be done. You feel it clearly. And every time you ignore that inner instruction, you fracture trust with yourself. That fracture widens over time. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," because life seeks balance. If you avoid voluntary discomfort, involuntary discomfort arrives. If you refuse to train yourself, life trains you harshly. If you avoid small challenges, you receive large ones. Resistance also distorts perception. The more you avoid something, the more dramatic it becomes in your mind. You imagine worst outcomes. You exaggerate difficulty. You convince yourself you are not ready. Meanwhile, disciplined people face discomfort early, when it is still manageable. You resist silence because silence reveals your thoughts. You resist structure because structure limits your impulses. You resist commitment because commitment removes escape routes. But these are exactly the things that stabilize you. Resistance keeps you free in the moment, but imprisoned long term. God does not ask you to face everything at once. God asks you to stop running. The moment you stop resisting, the problem loses power. When you turn toward discomfort instead of away from it, Your nervous system learns that you can survive it. Strength is born in that moment. Tomorrow, whatever you have been resisting will knock louder. Not to harm you, but to demand resolution. The body demands care. The mind demands order. The soul demands alignment. Ignoring these demands does not silence them. It amplifies them. Resistance is exhausting. It consumes more energy than action. Holding something down takes constant effort. Facing it once takes courage, but afterward energy returns. This is why disciplined people appear calm. They are not carrying unresolved weight. God said, what you resist today returns stronger tomorrow, because resistance creates repetition. You repeat lessons until you learn them. Life is patient, but it is persistent. The same patterns return in different forms. Different people, different situations, same lesson. When you finally face what you resisted, you often realize it was never as dangerous as your mind made it. The suffering came from anticipation, not action. The fear came from imagination, not reality. Resistance magnified the pain. People ask why the same problems keep appearing in their lives. The answer is simple and uncomfortable, because the lesson was avoided, not learned. Life does not move on until alignment happens. God said stop resisting because resistance is rooted in ego. Ego says, I shouldn't have to do this. Discipline says, this must be done. Ego wants comfort. Discipline wants order. Life supports order. Tomorrow gives you a choice. Continue resisting and allow the pressure to increase, or face what you have been avoiding and reduce future suffering. Both paths involve discomfort. One leads to growth, the other leads to repetition. When you stop resisting, something unexpected happens. You feel lighter, not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer fighting reality. You move with it instead of against it. God said what you resist today returns stronger tomorrow, because reality always wins. You can argue with it emotionally, but it does not listen. It only responds to action. Face the habit you've been avoiding. Face the routine you've been delaying. Face the truth you've been denying. Do it before tomorrow forces it upon you. Resistance ends where responsibility begins, and responsibility is the doorway to freedom. What you face weakens. What you avoid grows. Tomorrow simply reveals which one you chose. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding. This is not a threat, and it is not punishment. It is a law. Whatever you refuse to look at today grows louder tomorrow. Whatever you keep pushing aside gathers weight. Avoidance does not make problems disappear. It gives them time to mature. And when they mature, they no longer knock gently. They arrive fully formed, asking for your attention all at once. Tomorrow is simply honest. It reflects back the choices you made in silence, the truths you ignored in comfort, and the responsibilities you delayed because they felt inconvenient or uncomfortable. Most people are not afraid of hard work. They are afraid of clarity, because clarity removes excuses. When something becomes clear, you can no longer pretend you did not know. You can no longer blame circumstances, people, or timing. You see yourself. And that is what many avoid. Not effort, not struggle, but the moment when the mirror is placed directly in front of them. God said tomorrow brings the mirror, not to judge you, but to show you where you truly stand. Avoidance often disguises itself as patience. You tell yourself, I will deal with this later. The time is not right. I need more information. I need more confidence. But later quietly becomes never. And confidence does not come before action, it comes after. The longer you wait, the heavier the thing becomes, not because it is actually heavier, but because your mind has added layers of fear to it. Tomorrow strips those layers away. It shows you the thing as it is. And when you finally face it, you often realize it was never as powerful as you imagined. The fear was louder than the reality. God said tomorrow exposes not only problems, but patterns. You may notice the same situations repeating, the same emotions rising, the same conflicts returning in different forms. This repetition is not bad luck. It is unlearned lessons asking for your attention again. Life is patient, but it is precise. It will bring the same teacher until the lesson is understood. Tomorrow may look new, but it carries echoes of yesterday. If you are honest, you will recognize them. What you avoid shapes your character more than what you face. Facing builds strength. Avoiding builds tension. That tension settles in your body, your breath, your posture, your sleep. You feel tired even when you rest, distracted even when it is quiet. This is the cost of running from yourself. God said tomorrow makes the cost visible, not to overwhelm you, but to wake you up. Awareness is the beginning of change. There is a deep difference between acceptance and surrender. Acceptance is seeing things as they are without resistance. Surrender is giving up your responsibility. Tomorrow calls you to acceptance, not surrender. To say, this is the situation, this is my part, this is what I must do next. Avoidance keeps you vague. Acceptance makes you precise, and precision is power. Many people think spiritual growth means feeling calm all the time, but calm that is built on avoidance is fragile. True calm comes after confrontation, after you sit with discomfort without escaping, after you tell yourself the truth without softening it. God said tomorrow tests the depth of your calm. Not whether you can feel peaceful when everything is easy, but whether you can remain grounded when reality asks something of you. You may feel resistance when tomorrow arrives, a tightening in the chest, a restless mind, an urge to distract yourself. This is the moment most people turn away again. They reach for noise, for comfort, for familiar habits. But God said this moment is the doorway. If you stay, if you breathe, if you do not run, the resistance passes. On the other side is clarity. On the other side is relief. Not because the situation magically disappears, but because you are no longer divided inside. Avoidance splits your energy. Part of you moves forward, part of you holds back. This division is exhausting. When tomorrow exposes what you avoid, it gives you a chance to reunite yourself, to bring all your energy into one direction. Even if the direction is difficult, unity feels lighter than conflict. One hard truth is easier to carry than 10 soft lies. God said tomorrow also reveals the gap between intention and action. You may have good intentions. You may genuinely want to change, to grow, to live with purpose. But intention without action becomes self-deception. Tomorrow shows you where you are not aligned. This is not failure. This is information. Information is neutral. What you do with it defines you. When something is revealed, the mind often rushes to judgment. I should have known better. I wasted time. I failed. This judgment is another form of avoidance. It keeps you stuck in the past instead of moving forward. God said, see clearly, but do not punish yourself. Responsibility without compassion becomes cruelty. Compassion without responsibility becomes weakness. Tomorrow asks for both. Facing what you avoid requires stillness, not dramatic movement, not emotional reactions. Stillness. To sit with the truth long enough for it to settle. When water is disturbed, it becomes cloudy. If you keep stirring it, it never clears. If you leave it alone, clarity returns on its own. God said tomorrow, do not stir. Observe. Listen. Let things reveal themselves fully. Often, what you avoid is not the external situation, but the feeling associated with it. Fear, shame, grief, disappointment. These feelings are not enemies. They are signals. They show you where something matters. Avoidance numbs these signals, but it also numbs joy, purpose, and connection. Tomorrow reconnects you to feeling. This may be uncomfortable at first, but it is also the sign that you are alive and engaged with your path. You are not asked to solve everything tomorrow. You are asked to stop pretending you do not see it. One honest acknowledgement is more powerful than 1,000 forced affirmations. Say to yourself, this is what I have been avoiding. Say it calmly. Say it without drama. In that moment, you step out of denial and into reality. Reality is where action is possible. God said tomorrow reveals what you avoid because avoidance delays destiny. The path forward cannot appear clearly while you are looking away. Once you face what stands in front of you, the next step often becomes obvious. Not easy, but obvious. And clarity, even when challenging, is a relief to the soul. Remember, exposure is not the end. It is the beginning. The beginning of alignment, of discipline, of decisive action. But it starts here with honesty. Tomorrow does not come to break you. It comes to meet you. And how you meet it depends on whether you choose courage over comfort, truth over distraction, presence over escape. God said, face it. Whatever it is, look directly, breathe deeply, stand firmly. When you stop avoiding, life stops chasing you. When you turn toward the truth, it softens. And in that moment, you realize you were never being punished. You were being prepared. God said, discipline becomes protection when emotions fail. This is not poetry. This is a principle. Emotions are powerful, but they are unstable. They rise and fall with sleep, hunger, memories, words spoken by others, and thoughts you did not choose. If your life is built only on how you feel, then your life has no foundation. One strong emotion can shake everything. Discipline is what remains when motivation disappears. Discipline is the structure that holds you upright when the inner weather turns chaotic. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it is harsh, rigid, or joyless. They imagine control, restriction, force. But true discipline is not violence against the self. It is care for the self. It is saying, I will not abandon myself just because today feels difficult. Emotions say, do what feels good now. Discipline says, do what protects me later. God said when emotions fail, and they always do at some point, discipline becomes your shield. There will be days when you do not feel inspired. Days when your mind feels heavy, your body feels slow, and your heart feels uncertain. On those days, motivation will not save you. Positive thinking will not carry you. What carries you is routine. What carries you is commitment. What carries you is the simple act of doing what must be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline removes negotiation. And where there is no negotiation, there is peace. Emotions are reactive. Discipline is proactive. Emotions respond to what happens. Discipline prepares you before it happens. This is why disciplined people appear calm under pressure. Not because they feel less, but because they are less controlled by what they feel. They have trained themselves to act from principle instead of impulse. God said this training is not optional if you want stability. It is essential. Look closely at moments when people make the worst decisions of their lives. Rarely is it because they lacked intelligence. It is because emotions took the steering wheel. Anger spoke first, fear decided, desire rushed ahead. Discipline was absent. And without discipline, emotions do not guide, they dominate. God said discipline steps in where emotions overstep. Discipline is built in small, unglamorous moments. Waking up when the alarm rings, finishing what you start, keeping your word when no one is watching, choosing silence instead of unnecessary reaction. These moments seem insignificant, but they compound. Over time, they create a nervous system that is steady, a mind that is trained, a character that can be trusted. When crisis arrives, this foundation holds. Many people wait to feel ready before they act. This is another trap of emotion. Readiness is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Discipline acts without waiting for readiness. It understands that readiness is often the result of action, not the cause. God said move first, feel later. When you move consistently, confidence follows. When you wait for confidence, stagnation grows. Discipline also protects you from yourself, from your own excuses, your own rationalizations, your own ability to justify delay. The mind is clever. It can turn fear into logic and laziness into philosophy. Discipline cuts through this. It is simple. It says, this is what I do. This is who I am. There is no debate. There is no drama. There is only execution. When emotions fail, people often seek external control. They look for someone to save them, motivate them, or force them to change. But external control is weak and temporary. The moment it is removed, old patterns return. Discipline is internal, it stays with you. It does not depend on circumstances. God said, build inner order so outer chaos cannot destroy you. Discipline is closely connected to self-respect. Each time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen trust with yourself. Each time you break your word to yourself, that trust erodes. Over time, this determines how you see yourself. People who lack discipline often struggle with self-worth, not because they are incapable, but because they have repeatedly disappointed themselves. Discipline heals this relationship. It says, I can rely on myself. This is powerful. There is a moment when emotions scream the loudest, when you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. This is the moment discipline matters most. Not grand discipline, not heroic effort, simple discipline. Drink water, breathe slowly, take one step, go to bed on time. These small acts stabilize you. God said discipline brings you back to center when everything pulls you outward. Discipline also creates freedom, not limitation. This may sound paradoxical, but it is true. When your life has structure, your mind has space. When your habits are strong, your willpower is not constantly drained. You are free to focus on what matters. Without discipline, every day becomes a series of decisions, debates, and emotional swings. That is not freedom. That is fatigue. Think of discipline as a container. Emotions flow inside it without spilling over. Without a container, even good emotions become destructive. Passion becomes obsession. Love becomes attachment. Ambition becomes burnout. Discipline holds energy in the right shape. God said, learn to contain your power before trying to express it. Discipline is especially important when no one is watching. Applause can motivate anyone. Pressure can force anyone. But who are you in silence? Who are you when there is no reward, no recognition, no urgency? This is where discipline is formed. This is where character is revealed. God said, what you do in the unseen determines what happens in the seen. Many people associate discipline only with physical practices, exercise, diet, routines. But discipline of the mind is equally important. What thoughts you allow to repeat, what stories you tell yourself, what inputs you consume. Discipline is choosing not to feed thoughts that weaken you. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every emotion deserves expression. God said discernment is a form of discipline. When emotions fail, people often react instead of respond. Reaction is fast, automatic, and often regretted. Response is slower, conscious, and deliberate. Discipline creates the pause between stimulus and action. In that pause, you regain control. In that pause, wisdom can speak. God said the disciplined person owns that pause. Discipline is not built in a day. It is built through repetition. And repetition requires patience. There will be days you fail, days you break routine, days you give in. Discipline is not destroyed by failure, it is destroyed by quitting. Return the next day, return calmly, without self-hate. God said consistency is more important than intensity. As discipline strengthens, something subtle happens. You begin to trust life more. Not because life becomes easier, but because you know you can handle it. You are no longer at the mercy of every emotional wave. You have an anchor. This anchor does not remove storms, but it prevents drift. God said this is protection. Discipline also clarifies purpose. When your actions are consistent, your direction becomes clear. When your life is scattered, purpose feels confusing. Many people search endlessly for purpose while living without structure. Purpose reveals itself through disciplined action. Walk the path, and the path shows itself. Ultimately, discipline is an act of faith. Faith not in outcomes, but in process. Faith that doing the right thing repeatedly will lead somewhere meaningful, even if you cannot see it yet. Emotions demand immediate proof. Discipline works without guarantees. God said this quiet faith is strength. So when emotions fail, and they will, do not panic. Do not seek escape. Return to discipline. Return to the simple practices that ground you. Wake up, breathe, move, focus, act, again and again. God said discipline will carry you when feelings cannot, and through it you will arrive stronger, steadier, and ready for what comes next. God said silence is where guidance becomes clear. Not silence as emptiness, not silence as escape, but silence as presence. The kind of silence where you stop running from your own mind and stop filling every gap with noise. Most people are not confused because life is unclear. They are confused because they never stop long enough to listen. Noise has become normal. Distraction has become comfort. And in that constant stimulation, guidance has no space to speak. Silence is uncomfortable at first because it removes entertainment. It removes stimulation. It removes the familiar habit of escaping yourself. When the noise fades, what remains is you, your thoughts, your fears, your unresolved questions. This is why many avoid silence. But God said, what you avoid in silence controls you in noise. The moment you are willing to sit quietly, you begin to regain authority over your inner world. Guidance is subtle. It does not shout. It does not compete with chaos. It waits. If your mind is loud, guidance stays quiet. Not because it is absent, but because it is respectful. Silence is an invitation. When you create stillness, guidance steps forward naturally. You do not force it. You do not chase it. You make room and it arrives. Most people expect guidance to come as dramatic signs or loud instructions. But true guidance often comes as a calm knowing, a steady sense of this is right or this is not aligned. It is simple, clear, undramatic. Silence refines your sensitivity so you can recognize it. Without silence, everything feels equally urgent, equally important, equally confusing. God said silence reveals truth without argument. In silence, there is no one to impress, no one to convince, no image to protect. The masks fall away. You see what you really want, what you really fear, what you really know. This honesty can feel confronting, but it is also liberating. Once you see clearly, you stop wasting energy pretending. Silence also slows time internally. The world may still move fast, but your inner pace becomes steady. Decisions made from this state are rarely rushed and rarely regretted. When you act from silence, you act from alignment rather than impulse. God said clarity is born when urgency dissolves. Many people fill their lives with constant input, voices, opinions, advice, content. They mistake information for wisdom. But wisdom does not increase with volume. It deepens with stillness. Silence filters out what is unnecessary so what matters can stand out. In silence, priorities arrange themselves naturally. Silence teaches you to observe rather than react. Thoughts rise, emotions pass, sensations come and go. When you sit quietly, you realize you are not every thought you think. You are the one who notices them. This distance gives you freedom. Guidance comes from this observer's position, not from the emotional storm. God said the one who can observe can choose. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is feeling empty because you seek fulfillment outside yourself. Solitude is feeling complete because you are connected within. Silence transforms loneliness into solitude. It shows you that you are not incomplete, you are simply unacquainted with yourself. Guidance grows from self-connection. In silence, you begin to notice patterns, repeated thoughts, repeated fears, repeated desires. These patterns are messages. They show you where attention is needed. When you are constantly distracted, these messages stay buried. God said silence brings them to the surface so they can be understood, not suppressed. Silence also refines intuition. Intuition is not mystical, it is sensitivity to subtle information. Your body knows before your mind explains. But intuition is quiet. It is easily drowned out by overthinking. When you slow down and listen inwardly, intuition becomes sharper. Decisions feel simpler. You stop second-guessing everything. God said trust grows in stillness. Many people say they pray, but they only speak. True prayer includes listening. Silence is listening. It is humility. It is saying, I do not need to control this moment. I am willing to receive. Guidance flows to those who listen more than they demand. Silence is surrender without weakness. Silence does not mean withdrawal from life. It means engagement without noise. You can act, work, speak, and still carry silence inside you. This inner silence becomes a stable center. No matter what happens outside, you return to it. God said this center is where guidance lives. When you sit in silence regularly, you begin to notice how much of your suffering was unnecessary. How many problems were created by impatience, by assumptions, by reacting too quickly. Silence teaches restraint, and restraint is wisdom in action. Silence also strengthens discernment. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every relationship is aligned. Not every desire should be followed. In noise, everything feels tempting. In silence, truth feels obvious. God said discernment saves years of regret. At first, silence may feel unproductive. You may think you are wasting time, but silence sharpens action. One clear decision born from silence can outweigh months of frantic effort. God said do less, but do it from clarity. Silence reconnects you with purpose. Purpose is not a sentence you memorize. It is a direction you feel. When the mind quiets, direction becomes tangible. You feel pulled rather than pushed. You stop forcing life and start cooperating with it. Silence also teaches patience. You learn that not everything needs immediate resolution. Some things unfold when left alone. This patience reduces anxiety. God said peace comes when you trust timing. Over time, silence becomes familiar. You stop fearing it. You begin to crave it. Not as escape, but as nourishment. Just as the body needs rest, the mind needs silence. Without it, clarity starves. God said guidance does not hide from you. It waits for you. It waits in the space you rarely visit. Silence is that space. Enter it willingly. Sit without expectation. Listen without urgency. And slowly, unmistakably, clarity will rise, not as noise, not as pressure, but as a calm, steady truth you can finally hear. There are moments in life when you do not realize how much you have carried, how much you have endured, how much you have silently survived, until a single message reaches you at the exact moment your spirit needs it. And when God says, "Congratulations," it is not because you won a competition. It is not because you achieved something the world can measure. It is because you lived through something only your soul understands. You survived experiences that would have erased the spirit of many people. You continued walking through days when your strength was fading, when your hope felt thin, when your heart was heavier than your body. The world may not congratulate you for healing yourself. The world may not honor you for carrying emotional storms alone, but God sees every silent battle. God witnesses every tear you never explained. God feels every moment when you kept going despite the weight trying to pull you down. And today, on this day, the message reaches you for a reason. It is not random. It is not coincidence. It is alignment. It is recognition. It is a quiet whisper from the universe telling you that your story did not break you, even though it tried. The storms you walked through were not meant to destroy you, but to reveal the parts of yourself that you had forgotten. When a seed grows under the soil, it pushes against darkness before it ever sees light. The soil does not celebrate the seed. The world does not applaud the struggle, but the seed keeps pushing, not because it is strong, but because it is meant to grow. You were the same. You pushed through the darkness of moments where there was no applause, no witness, no comforting hand. You kept moving on days when waking up already felt like a challenge. You breathed through moments when even breathing felt heavy. You held yourself together while asking, silently, when things would change, when life would ease, when your heart would finally feel light again. And still, you did not give up. This is why God says, congratulations, not for what the world sees, but for what the world never saw. For the nights when you wiped your own tears quietly. For the days when you pretended to be fine because you did not want to burden anyone with your pain. For the decisions you made alone because there was no one to guide you. For the strength you showed in moments where you had every excuse to collapse. Many people underestimate the difficulty of staying alive with a wounded heart. Many underestimate the courage it takes to continue believing in life when life has shown you its sharp edges. Many underestimate the resilience required to keep your spirit intact when your experiences were designed to make you numb, but you chose healing even in slow steps. You chose to rise even if it was just 1 inch at a time. You chose to stay sensitive, stay kind, stay hopeful, while reality kept testing you. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is courage. This is spiritual endurance. Shi Heng Yi says that a warrior is not defined by how loudly they fight, but by how silently they endure. Your endurance was silent, but powerful. Your patience was invisible, but extraordinary. Life placed mountains in front of you, not to punish you, but to show you how high you could climb. And even if your climb was slow, even if you paused, even if your body shook from exhaustion, the truth remains you did not walk backward. You never abandoned yourself completely. You never surrendered your possibility. Even when everything around you felt like a dead end, God is not congratulating you for perfection. God is congratulating you for persistence. The world applauds when you succeed. God applauds when you survive. Think back to the moments where you felt alone in your battles. Think of the moments when you wished someone would understand the confusion in your mind, the heaviness in your chest, the chaos behind your calm face. Think of the moments when you weren't sure whether you were strong or simply tired of being strong. Think of the moments when life didn't explain its hardships but still demanded your patience. And yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still capable of love, still capable of growth, still capable of becoming more than your wounds. The fact that you are able to listen to this message today means that every past version of you succeeded. Every younger version of you protected you enough to reach this moment. Every version of you who cried, who doubted, who broke, who healed, who fell and stood again, they all carried you to this exact day. And that alone is worthy of congratulations. Your suffering did not end you. Your past did not imprison you. Your fears did not paralyze you. Your mistakes did not define you. Your heartbreak did not harden you. Your loneliness did not disconnect you from life. You embraced the pain that tried to silence you. You held on to faith even when you questioned everything. You continued to hope even when the future felt uncertain. You continued to love even when you had every reason to close your heart. And this is why God congratulates you today, because you survived what was meant to break your spirit. And when the spirit survives, it becomes unshakable. There is a quiet strength in you now, a strength that does not need to be displayed, spoken, or proven. A strength that lives in your presence, in your choices, in your awareness. A strength that comes from understanding yourself deeply. You did not just endure, you evolved. You did not just tolerate pain, you transformed through it. You did not just pass through storms, you learned to walk with them, to breathe within them, to stand even as the winds tried to push you down. There is a reason God says congratulations at the exact moment you receive this message. Because now, you are entering a chapter where the battle is no longer for survival. Now, your energy will be used for creation, not defense. For building, not repairing. For expansion, not recovery. You are stepping out of survival mode into awakening mode. You are entering a phase where life begins to respond to your inner growth. Because the truth is, you are not the same person you were before the storms. Your sensitivity has sharpened. Your intuition has deepened. Your awareness has expanded. You see yourself differently now. You trust yourself more. You understand your patterns more clearly. You are no longer attracted to what once harmed you. You are no longer blind to what drains you. You are no longer confused about what you deserve. You are no longer willing to shrink to be accepted. This shift did not come from comfort. It came from pain. Pain is a profound teacher. Pain strips away illusions. Pain forces clarity. Pain makes you face yourself. Pain reveals what is essential. Pain teaches you the value of peace. Pain shows you how strong you truly are. And yet, people often misunderstand pain. They run away from it, resist it, deny it. But you faced it, you sat with it, you listened to it. You allowed pain to carve wisdom into your character. Pain leaves gifts when it leaves your life. And today, you carry those gifts. The gift of resilience, the gift of patience, the gift of self-awareness, the gift of compassion, the gift of calmness, the gift of strength without aggression, the gift of stability that comes from inner discipline. And this is why God says, congratulations, because you are no longer the version of yourself who walked into the storm. You are the version who walked out, stronger, wiser, more conscious, more awake, more aligned with who you are meant to become. This day marks the recognition of everything you silently conquered. It marks the closing of a chapter defined by wounds. It marks the beginning of a chapter defined by growth. You did not survive by chance. You survived because there is more written for you. You survived because your soul has a purpose that pain could not erase. You survived because every challenge was shaping you for a future that will require this exact strength. So let this message be your confirmation. Let it enter you softly, but deeply. Let it remind you that your past is not a burden, it is preparation. Every experience trained you. Every struggle sharpened you. Every heartbreak opened your heart wider, even if it hurt. Every disappointment redirected your spirit towards something better. And now, you stand at the doorway of a new chapter, not as a victim of what happened, but as the master of what comes next. God's congratulations is not about the past. It is about the future. It is an acknowledgement that you are ready. Ready for blessings that require emotional stability. Ready for opportunities that require discipline. Ready for relationships that require awareness. Ready for peace that requires maturity. Ready for life that requires presence. And when God says congratulations, it means the universe is shifting in your favor. It means your path is opening. It means your growth is being recognized. It means your survival was not meaningless. You are entering a season where your strength will no longer be tested. It will be rewarded. A season where your wounds will finally heal completely. A season where your heart will feel lighter. A season where clarity will replace confusion. A season where inner peace will become your natural state. And all of this begins with one truth. You survived what was sent to break you. That alone is enough for God to say congratulations. When God says, congratulations because you are entering alignment, it is not a small statement. Alignment is not something that happens loudly. It is not a dramatic event. It is not a moment filled with fireworks or applause. Alignment is a subtle shift, a quiet movement within your life that begins long before you become aware of it. It is the gentle rearranging of circumstances, thoughts, energies, and choices that prepare you for a path that you could not walk before. The reason you are seeing this message today is because something inside you has reached a level of clarity that makes alignment possible. Most people move through their days disconnected from themselves. Their actions do not match their desires. Their words do not match their intentions. Their dreams do not match their discipline. They are scattered, divided, unfocused. They live in conflict with their own direction. But you are not in that place anymore. You have gone through experiences that forced you to reflect deeply. You have questioned who you are, what you want, what matters, and what no longer belongs in your life. This inner questioning is not confusion, it is awakening. It is the beginning of alignment. Alignment happens when your inner world becomes clear enough for the outer world to respond. And this clarity did not arrive easily. It came from your storms. It came from your emotional bruises. It came from the times you had to sit alone and confront your own patterns. It came from the moments when life pushed you into solitude, not as punishment, but as preparation. Sometimes God isolates you not to break you, but to align you. He removes distractions so you can hear yourself again. He removes people so you can understand your worth. He removes noise so you can feel your truth. And today, the fact that you are receiving this message proves that alignment has begun. Your frequency is changing. Your energy is shifting. You are no longer attracted to what once drained you. You no longer tolerate what once hurt you. You are no longer feeding what once kept you stuck. This is alignment. Alignment is not only about what comes into your life. It is also about what leaves. And lately, you have noticed that certain things have naturally fallen away. Conversations that no longer feel meaningful. People who no longer feel connected to your path. Habits that no longer match the person you are becoming. Dreams that no longer feel like they belong to you. You may have wondered why these things faded. You may have felt a sense of loss, a sense of confusion, a quiet discomfort. But understand this: life cannot give you the next step if you are still holding tightly to the old one. God removes the unnecessary so you can make space for the essential. This is alignment. Alignment begins within you long before it becomes visible around you. Shi Heng Yi often teaches that inner harmony creates outer clarity. When the mind becomes steady, the path becomes visible. When the heart becomes quiet, truth becomes audible. When the spirit becomes calm, direction becomes natural. Over the last months, your heart has softened in some places and strengthened in others. Your mind has questioned old beliefs. Your spirit has grown more conscious. You have become more aware of your patterns, your triggers, your fears, your desires. Awareness is the first step of alignment, because you cannot correct what you cannot see. And you have started seeing, truly seeing. You've begun noticing what lifts your energy and what drains it. You've begun recognizing what feels forced and what feels natural. You've begun sensing which relationships nourish your growth and which ones limit it. You've begun distinguishing between a path that feeds your spirit and one that suffocates it. These small recognitions are not accidents. They are signals. Signals that your inner world is aligning with your outer world. Alignment means that life begins to move in the same direction as your soul. And this is why God says, congratulations, because reaching alignment requires maturity. It requires honesty. It requires stillness. It requires courage to let go of things you once thought were permanent. Alignment is not about forcing outcomes. It is about allowing life to flow through you without resistance. You spent years resisting without realizing it. You held on to people out of fear. You held on to habits out of comfort. You held on to dreams out of attachment. You held on to identities that no longer reflected your growth. But something inside you has shifted. You are letting go without fear now. You are walking forward without needing to know every answer. You are trusting your intuition more deeply. You are listening to the silent instructions within you. These are the qualities of alignment. Alignment is a dance between surrender and direction. You surrender what you cannot control. You direct what you can influence, and the universe fills in the space between those two. In alignment, opportunities begin to appear that match your frequency. People enter your life who reflect your growth. Ideas come to you that match your purpose. Strength rises within you that matches your next challenge. And clarity unfolds that matches your next decision. You may not notice it immediately, but small shifts are already happening. The conversations that inspire you are becoming more frequent. The thoughts that guide you are becoming more consistent. The inner voice that once whispered is becoming more confident. The intuition you used to ignore is becoming undeniable. You are entering a stage where life begins to respond to your inner state more quickly. That is the power of alignment. When you are misaligned, everything feels like a struggle. You push, you force, you chase, you try to control. But when you are aligned, everything flows. Opportunities feel natural. Decisions feel clear. Movement feels effortless. The right people feel magnetic. the wrong people disappear. Life begins to work with you instead of against you. And today marks the beginning of that shift. God congratulates you because your heart is finally willing to receive what your mind once doubted you deserved. God congratulates you because your frequency has risen beyond the heaviness you once carried. God congratulates you because your soul is now strong enough to align with the purpose you were created for. Alignment is not about perfection. It is about coherence. Coherence between who you are and who you are becoming. Coherence between your inner truth and your outer actions. Coherence between your highest self and your daily choices. You are stepping into that coherence. This is why certain things suddenly make sense. Why certain decisions feel easier. Why certain connections feel deeper. Why certain boundaries feel natural. Why certain goals feel attainable. Why certain patterns no longer hold you. This is the evidence of alignment taking place. Sometimes the universe has to rearrange your life in ways you don't understand to place you in alignment with your destiny. The delays you hated were not delays, they were protection. The disappointments you felt were not failures, they were redirections. The endings you mourned were not losses, they were releases. God does not align you with your purpose until you are strong enough to hold it. And now you are. That is why you are seeing this message today. That is why alignment is beginning now. You are no longer living from your wounds, you are living from your awareness. You are no longer moving from fear, you are moving from inner clarity. You are no longer seeking approval, you are seeking alignment with truth. You are no longer chasing outcomes, you are allowing life to unfold with intention. And as you transition into this new state of being, you will notice that alignment brings peace, not because life becomes easier, but because you become clearer. You begin to trust timing. You begin to trust transitions. You begin to trust your own evolution. You begin to trust that everything that has happened was necessary to bring you here. And when trust replaces fear, alignment becomes inevitable. You will feel it in your conversations. You will feel it in your decisions. You will feel it in your intuition. You will feel it in your silence. You will feel it in your relationships. You will feel it in your dreams. You will feel it in the way life begins to respond to you. Alignment is the universe saying, "No, you are ready. Ready for opportunities that match your maturity. Ready for growth that matches your sensitivity. Ready for relationships that match your soul. Ready for a path that matches your awareness. Ready for blessings that match your endurance. Ready for a life that matches your spirit." And God congratulates you for reaching this level, not because it was easy, but because you earned it through every internal battle you fought. Alignment is not accidental, it is intentional. And your intentions have shifted. You are becoming someone who no longer runs from truth, but towards it. Someone who no longer hides from growth, but chooses it. Someone who no longer fears change, but accepts it. Someone who no longer resists lessons, but learns from them. Someone who no longer lives in confusion, but in awareness. Someone who no longer clings to the past, but moves toward the future. And this is why the universe is aligning with you now. Life always aligns with those who align with themselves. The moment your inner world becomes clear, your outer world must follow. That is law. That is energy. That is alignment. And today, this message comes to you as confirmation that the alignment you once prayed for, cried for, hoped for, waited for, it is beginning. The right opportunities are approaching. The right people are approaching. The right insights are approaching. The right timing is approaching. Everything that once felt distant is moving closer. Everything that once felt blocked is opening. Everything that once felt delayed is accelerating. Your alignment is God's way of saying, you are ready for the next chapter. And for that, He says, congratulations. There is a moment in every human life when God looks at the heart, not the achievements, and says, you are ready to receive. That readiness is not created by success. It is created by the struggles you survived. It is created by the moments that tested your patience, your resilience, your character, your truth. And when God says, "Congratulations," because the doors that were closed are now preparing to open, it means the time of waiting is transforming into a time of unfolding. This message reaches you today because the version of you who once felt unprepared has evolved. Growth is rarely visible when it is happening. It is slow, subtle, almost invisible, like a tree forming its roots underground long before anyone sees a leaf. You lived through seasons where you thought nothing was changing, but everything was shifting internally. Your patience deepened. Your wisdom expanded. Your attachment to what was hurting you dissolved. Your identity slowly separated from your wounds. Your perception sharpened. Your heart awakened. This invisible transformation is what opens visible doors. Doors do not open when you want them to. They open when you are aligned enough to walk through them. Because a blessing received at the wrong time becomes a burden. A responsibility accepted without maturity becomes stress. An opportunity entered without clarity becomes confusion. So God waits for your soul to reach a state where you can not only step through the door, but stay inside it. Many times you believed the silence of your life meant nothing was happening. But silence is not empty. Silence is sacred. In silence, alignment is created. In silence, healing takes place. In silence, strength forms. In silence, clarity sharpens. In silence, foundations strengthen. You needed the silence before the opening. You needed the stillness before the movement. You needed the isolation before the expansion. God is congratulating you because you completed an inner chapter that no one else saw. You reached a level of inner readiness that your past versions worked for tirelessly. Think of the times when you prayed for change but felt like change was ignoring you. Think of the times when you asked for signs but felt like heaven was quiet. Think of the times when you pushed forward but life seemed motionless. What you didn't realize then is that the ground beneath you was preparing to shift. Closed doors are not a sign of rejection. They are a sign of protection. They close because the timing is not yet right. They close because the path requires more preparation. They close because entering too early would sabotage the blessing. They close because your energy is not yet aligned with what is waiting on the other side. Closed doors are invitations to grow. And you grew, sometimes through pain, sometimes through confusion, sometimes through letting go, sometimes through learning who you are not, so you could remember who you are. Growth rarely comes through certainty, it comes through challenge, and every challenge you faced was shaping you into someone who could hold more. More responsibility, more abundance, more peace, more clarity, more purpose, more alignment. Doors open not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You learned how to stabilize yourself internally. You learned how to calm your emotions when they tried to overflow. You learned how to separate truth from fear. You learned how to think with depth rather than impulse. You learned how to choose intentionally rather than react unconsciously. This internal mastery is why external doors are preparing to open for you. When the internal world is stable, the external world responds with opportunity. Shi Heng Yi often teaches that the environment changes when the inner state changes. What you tolerate, what you accept, what you allow, what you choose, all of this creates your reality. And lately, your choices have shifted. You stopped running back to situations that drained your soul. You stopped entertaining people who did not value your presence. You stopped giving energy to doubts that limited your potential. You stopped shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stopped waiting for permission to evolve. These internal shifts are signals to the universe. Signals that you are no longer the person who needed the old doors. Signals that you can be trusted with new ones. A door does not open simply because you want it. It opens because you are prepared for what is on the other side. And now, finally, Preparation has become readiness. The closed doors you once feared were signs of protection. The opening doors you are approaching are signs of timing. Divine timing. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Not the mistakes, not the heartbreaks, not the disappointments, not the waiting seasons, not the moments of confusion. Every delay contributed to your depth. Every challenge contributed to your wisdom. Every silence contributed to your self-awareness. Every ending contributed to your evolution. And now, evolution is unlocking access. God opens doors when the heart is steady enough not to sabotage the blessing. When the mind is calm enough not to create chaos where there should be peace. When the spirit is strong enough not to collapse under new responsibility. When your identity is no longer tied to your wounds or your past. You are stepping into that state now. That is why this message finds you today. This is your confirmation. The door that once rejected you will accept you now, not because the door changed, but because you did. Life operates in cycles. Some cycles challenge you. Some cycles heal you. Some cycles break you. Some cycles prepare you. But the most sacred cycles open doors. You are entering such a cycle. A cycle where opportunities match your spirit, not your fear. A cycle where blessings align with your energy, not your attachment. A cycle where relationships uplift your growth, not your wounds. A cycle where clarity guides you, not confusion. A cycle where movement replaces stagnation. A cycle where confidence replaces doubt. A cycle where inner peace becomes your natural state. These shifts are not coincidences, they are signs. Signs that the energy around you is opening pathways. Signs that heaven is orchestrating changes on your behalf. Signs that the timing you once questioned is beginning to reveal its wisdom. You will notice subtle changes, then obvious ones. People who were once distant may reappear with new intentions. Opportunities that once slipped away may return in improved form. Doors that once felt locked may begin to open effortlessly. Even your own thoughts may begin aligning with possibilities you once doubted. You may feel yourself being drawn toward new environments, new ambitions, new connections, new paths. These are not impulses, they are signals of guidance. They mean your spirit is moving toward alignment, and life is responding. There will come a moment, soon, when something that once felt blocked will open without resistance. That moment will be your sign. Doors do not open to those who are lucky, they open to those who are ready. And readiness is built through endurance, patience, awareness, humility, discipline, and faith. You have developed all of these not through ease but through experience. That is why the doors are preparing to open now. God congratulates you not because the journey was easy, but because it transformed you. You did not lose yourself in difficulty, you found yourself. You did not collapse in darkness, you grew roots. You did not break under pressure, you became more aware. You did not drown in uncertainty, you learned to breathe through it. You did not run from discomfort, you evolved through it. Blessings are attracted to those who grow, and you grew in ways that the world could not see. Blessings are attracted to stability, and you stabilized yourself in moments when you were shaking. Blessings are attracted to clarity, and you gained clarity through experiences that forced you to look inward. Blessings are attracted to truth, and you discovered truth about yourself and others that changed everything. Blessings are attracted to alignment, and alignment is exactly what you have stepped into. So, understand the doors that are preparing to open for you are not rewards, they are reflections. Reflections of who you became. Reflections of the work you have done internally. Reflections of the strength you gained from battles no one witnessed. A closed door was never a punishment. It was a pause until you became someone who could walk through the next door with confidence, discipline, and awareness. You are that person now, and so the universe responds. There will be blessings ahead that make you say, "No, I understand why I had to wait." There will be opportunities ahead that make you say, "This timing is perfect." There will be relationships ahead that make you say, "This is what respect feels like." There will be clarity ahead that makes you say, "This is who I was meant to become." There will be peace ahead that makes you say, "This is the reward for my endurance." And as these doors open, your spirit will feel something it has longed for: alignment without effort, movement without force, blessings without fear, purpose without confusion. You will walk through the next door with calmness because you trust yourself now. You will walk through the next door with confidence because you know your worth now. You will walk through the next door with clarity because you see life differently now. You will walk through the next door with strength because you survived the storms that shaped you. You will walk through the next door with humility because you understand that blessings are gifts, not guarantees. And as you enter this new chapter, remember this doors open when the soul is ready. Your soul is ready. That is why God says, "Congratulations."